Eddie Hall, who's a strongman from the UK, has an upcoming boxing match against Tommy Fury, who's a professional boxer and a Love Island star. But there's been some training footage dropped recently of both of them, so let's take a closer look at their abilities and see what we're thinking. 4 stiff jabs straight to the face. I don't know why he's not wearing a headgear, to be fair, but maybe one don't fit. Don't know who his sparring partner is, but it's decent. He's decent. Some good shots, good movement. It's putting Eddie through some serious work, so good on Eddie for stepping in there with him and choosing someone this competent. I don't know what that were. That like tumbling forward with punches. Can't be doing that. Okay, we've watched it. So a lot of aggression from Eddie and tumbling forward. He's definitely got the aggression and the weight, but he's kind of unable to apply any significant shots. And he seems to be moving a lot. Now he's sparring against a guy who is pretty decent, maybe better than pretty decent to be fair. And sometimes people can completely nullify you. If the skill level's above yours so much, you can look like a fish out of water. Could have been a little bit of that happening to Eddie. To get back at him or to land shots on him definitely isn't to chase him around the ring someone longer who moves better than you are. So I'd like to see Eddie doing some slip counters and one step moving out of the way, instead of running from one side of the ring, tumbling to the other side of the ring. So let's take a quick look at what I mean by this.
The slip and counter is the most common type of counterpunch in boxing. To keep it short, it is pressuring your opponent to throw a jab or a cross, then slipping and then coming up with a counterpunch. The best drill to master this type of counterpunch is partner drills, where you are up against a real person who will try to punch you and you should slip and throw a punch without hurting your opponent. Then you can try it out in light sparring sessions. Additionally, mitt work can also be very effective to improve at slipping and counter, because you have a target to hit after slipping and your coach can adjust it accordingly. Let's take an example of a perfect execution of the slip and counter by Canelo Alvarez. As you can see, Canelo's opponent throws a jab, then Canelo slips to the right side. He then uses that opportunity to throw a right hook before his opponent could get on guard. The reason why this is the perfect example is because Canelo knew that his opponent was going to throw a jab and had already planned to come up with a counter, and he did it very fast, so I had to slow down the video. If you know how to slip and counter together, you can win a lot of your fights, especially if you have good speed and punching power.
Defensive counters or slip counters. I often look at slip counters as almost a way of making other people walk into your punches, which would help Eddie massively because 1, he'd move less, and 2, he'd expend less energy. 3, he'd actually be able to hit people and get their respect. I think a lot of people think as long as you can move around and keep out of Eddie's way, it's pretty easy to beat. Just a little bit more discipline with his feet, maybe a little bit more elusiveness with his head movement, and I think Eddie could be dangerous. Slip counters, especially getting good at them, would make Eddie pretty dangerous dude to strike with. But let's take a look at them both hitting pads side by side now. I know it's easy to look good hitting pads, but we'll have a quick look at what they look like and then we'll call it. I mean, there's a huge difference in skill level, you can already see. In reality, the only way that Eddie can win really is by smothering Tommy, keeping him in a corner or something, and landing punches that are so hard. Maybe even through his guard it hurts Tommy, but I just can't see it. Yeah, let's take it. I've seen enough. It's always a good spectacle when two people fight with like who are this different physically. You've got Tommy, who's like more of a typical boxer, speed, endurance, technique, and you've got Eddie, who's just a heavy powerhouse. This typically in a fight dynamic doesn't do you any favors. I mean, we've all seen people run out of steam with the muscles, can't apply the strength. And but still, it's a spectacle we want to watch. Hope it's a good fight. Hope both fighters have a good fight and they get paid well. And that's all there is, to be honest. There's not really much more to it. Maybe I'll take a closer look at the fight when it actually happens, or if anything interesting happens coming up to it, but I think that's it for this fight. Yeah, if you want to see more fight stuff, like and subscribe.